Ladies and gentlemen, Kathleen Edwards, Craig Finn.
You start. Ladies first.
All right.
Ladies first, but men before. How lovely. It stopped raining, and it's clearing, and it's a bit cooler. And look at this, we're all together. How nice. Well, I'm going to start with a new song, if that's okay. On the run from yourself and everyone you know, it's a short fall to the ground when you dig your own hole. Line your pockets with gold. Line your pockets well. Who's gonna save your soul when your money's no good? Who's gonna save your soul when your money's no good? Take a look at yourself before you wave goodbye. You'd have come clean years ago, but the hustle gets you high. Line your pockets with gold. Oh, line your pockets well. Who's gonna save your soul when your money's no good? Who's gonna save your soul when your money's no good? Take a page from your book, yeah, go and tell all your friends a story that you won't believe, no, until you wind up dead. The sun goes down, who'll be left to pick you up off the ground? Oh, who's gonna save your soul when your money's no good? Who's gonna save your soul when your money's no good? Who's gonna save it? Who's gonna save it?
Thanks, Kathleen. Kathleen and I went on tour, I think it was last September? Yeah, in Europe and the UK. And I was just thinking as we were sitting there that we played a show in Berlin, and I played an extra song that night, and I came off stage, I played it last, and she said, you should do that one every night, so I'm going to do it first.
You want to give us money? We already have our first tip.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Okay.
I hope you're fucking paying attention.
There's a darkness in my body, and I think I might be ready. Maggie, I've been searching for some. There's a big hole in my thinking. Lately I've been seeing things Maggie, I've been searching for a son. If you're all strung out, if you still have any doubts, if you doubt that there's a savior yet to come, stop what you're doing, close your eyes and keep on breathing. Slowly turn your face up to the sun. It was warm in Arizona, it was cold in Colorado. Maggie, I've been searching for a son. There were crosses on the altar, there was gold in El Dorado. Maggie, I got blisters on my thumbs. And if you're all strung out, if you still have any doubts, if you doubt that there's a rapture yet to come, hey, pick up the paper, see the stories and the pictures. A kid went to the movies with a gun. There's a house out in the desert, and I lived there with some people. Maggie, that guy said he was our savior, but once he took our women and turned us into his soldiers, he hit a patch of radical behavior, and the HEF belligerent. There were handcuffed girls with barely any clothes. There was power in their numbers. There was silver in their holsters. The trucks as they rolled slowly up the road. Well, there's a darkness in my body, and I think I might be ready. So if you're stuck down south, if you still have any doubts, if you doubt that there's a heaven yet to come, well, there's a darkness in my body, and I think I might be ready. Maggie, I'm still searching for our son. Maggie, I'm still searching for our son. Thank you.
Well, I put out a bunch of new songs in recent weeks, and there's nothing quite as terrifying as playing them for people for the first time. You go in the studio and you're sort of in a safe space, and all your mistakes are fixable, and then you go and play the songs for people for the first time. And this is a new one. And for those of you who are sports fans and knowing geographically where we are right now, there are some passionate ones in close proximity always in this part of the world. The working title for this song was The Leafs Still Suck, which I'll take great joy in playing in Toronto when the opportunity comes. But the person who sang backing vocals on this song on my new record came out today is a guy named Matt Susich, who is a boy from Queens, lives in Astoria, and we became friends because he came to see me play in Freehold, New Jersey, the home of Bruce Springsteen. I played a house concert, and his friend said, "Hey, my friend here, Matt, is a huge fan of yours. He also plays songs. You should check him out." And 6 years later, we put out this song with him singing on it. It's really sweet. He also drove Craig and I home from Lucinda's new bar last night because we were too drunk to get ourselves home. Mexican blanket on the front seat. It's old to you, but it's new to me. Oh, pick me up at the Roosevelt. Windows down, a two-door suits you well. But boy grows up in the Sioux. Mom and Dad sure loved you. A hockey kid, weekends at the rink. You love the Leafs even though they stink. And you're driving your little Red Ranger all over LA. And someday soon you're gonna call to tell us that you're gonna stay. Like a bird in a tree, if you look away, you miss the chance to see it fly away. And you never met a pair of jeans that didn't fit you perfectly. Now you're playing in a band and you sure can drink. Your long brown hair, your girl seems so sweet. But you'll always be that boy, lacing his skates. You miss every shot, you never take a big old smile. You got a heart of gold, you're channeling the spirit of Rick Danko's ghost. Yeah, you're driving your little Red Ranger all over LA. And someday soon you're gonna call home to tell us that you're gonna stay. Oh, a bird in a tree, if you look away, you miss the chance to see it fly away. Driving your little Red Ranger all over LA. Oh, someday soon you're gonna call home to tell us that you're gonna stay. Just like a bird in a tree, if you look away, you miss the chance to see it fly away. Live by the ocean, have a beautiful life. The Leafs still suck at playoff time.
Awesome. I do love a hockey song. But I don't have any, so I'm gonna play a song instead about a guy. Well, he's not just a guy, he's a legend. His name is the Amarillo Kid, and as you might guess, he came from down in Texas, Amarillo, Texas. But you don't get the nickname the Amarillo Kid if you stay at Amarillo. Everyone's the Amarillo Kid down there. Now, he had to go to Buffalo, New York to get that nickname, and also to do the things that made him so legendary. Now, shortly after I wrote this song, I was really proud of it. I started playing it for people, and some audience members who were from Texas, they came to me and said, "Hey, Craig, in Texas, we say Amarillo." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I know that." But up in Buffalo, New York, they say all kinds of crazy shit. This is his story. I was born down in the handle. I was brought up by the strap. When the devil starts to show up in your dreams, then it's hard to get your dreams back. If I lost my sense of wonder, you can blame it on the banks. Well, the scammers and the skimmers, they swim around together, and every dealer has a fish tank. The numbers never lie, but they also never tell the whole truth. Deanna's in the passenger side with the Buffalo Blues. She said the guys that you'll be meeting with won't be easily impressed. And if your whole thing's where you're coming from, they'll wonder why you left. I used to play first-person shooters. I'd spend days inside those games. Well, the speed made my head like a cockpit computer till the wings came off the plane. And I was deep in debt and desperate. Met some Hesher and his henchmen. Put on my only suit and I walked up to the interview. I applied for the position. When the whole thing finally happened, they flew me out to Buffalo, New York. Well, the terms are much different than what they'd first discussed, but I was grateful for the work. Deanna was the girl that used to ride around and wait in the car. And the gig was pretty good. They just always need to know where you are. Well, they gifted me a CRV and a decent place to live, a pistol and a nickname. I'm the Amarillo Kid. Dispatch and deliver. It's tough to drive in winter weather. 30 minutes so the next one is free. Still feels like forever. Deanna, now I know that you were only there to watch me work. And I didn't see staying on just to maintain the way that we were. Well, the ashtray is the bathtub. There's a stovetop kitchenette. The wallpaper is jaundiced, but we're still a step ahead. Didn't think they'd have the wherewithal to hunt me down out west. I took half of it in Wichita, and I'm wrapping up the rest. So darling, sit down on the bed, maybe have another hit, and listen to the legend, the Amarillo Kid. Listen to the legend of the Amarillo Kid.
Cop round the corner and he loaded 2 rounds. I can't even cross the line to talk you down. Peter, Suey, baby, where'd you get that gun? You spent half your life trying to turn the other half around. I tried to come guess it's no use. Well, your face is all over 6 o'clock news. They cleared the streets and then they closed the schools. Well, I can't even get inside. Did you lose your head when the farm went down? Was it when your dad died after he moved to town? I know your mama calls you good for nothing. Says your baby is a failure and she don't want you calling. I tried to come clean, but I guess it's no use. Your face is all over 6 o'clock news. They cleared the streets and then they closed the schools. Well, I can't even get inside. Peter, sweet baby, there's just something that I gotta say to you. Gonna have your baby this coming June. We could get a little place down by Gilmore Park. You could do a little time and save my broken heart. I tried to come clean, but I guess it's no use. Faces all over 6 o'clock news. They cleared the streets and then they closed the schools. And I can't even get inside. I tried to come clean, but I guess it's no use. Copper went ahead, he just shot you through. Oh, and now you're lying dead on the avenue. I can't feel my broken heart. Yeah, I can't feel my broken heart. Thank you.
So I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I moved to New York, to Brooklyn, in 2000. So I've been here 25 years in this area, and the only thing is, I never really started writing songs about New York. I think it's probably a little intimidating as a Midwesterner, even after all the time here. I sort of feel like New York, Jay-Z writes songs about New York, Lou Reed, they do a really good job, But maybe not. I've got a couple, but... Now, a couple of years ago, after I hit like 20 years in New York, I started to get a little hung up on this fact that I didn't really have any songs that were set in New York. I kept writing them about my hometown of Minneapolis. And I thought I should change that. But I wasn't having very much luck, so then I thought maybe what I'd do is I'd pick somewhere close to the city and then work up to it, And the obvious one is New Jersey, right? But here's the thing. There's this other songwriter that I really like. Does a lot of good New Jersey songs. And my friends, you do not want to step on Mr. John Bon Jovi's toes, This song starts out in New Jersey anyways. It's about someone who's no longer with us. Her name's Jessamine, that's the name of the song too. I met Jessamine in Cherry Hill, dress all done in daffodils, with a sticker on her skateboard that said speed kills, and yeah, it probably just did what it said. I only knew her for like 3 weeks straight, and that whole time we were wide awake. You know Trenton makes, the world takes. She had it spray painted over her bed. We used to hang around in her room, getting off on all the gloom and the doom, watching cavemen in the cartoons, playing xylophones made out of bones. And she was sexy but still death obsessed. She said the bloodshed makes such a mess, but you really don't even have to market it. Yeah, it pretty much sells itself. I should have asked her before she departed, hey, how did all these wars get started? And why do rival crews show up at the same parties if they hate each other so much? It's like they're secretly in love. She says suspicion isn't wisdom. Don't the drones look just like doves? And there was something laying siege to her kingdom, but she never really said what it was. And the incense burned to ashes. The sunrise wasn't sure. Jessamine must have had some dreams, but she never really said what they were. She never really said what they were. We kinda ended how we began, with Jessamine meeting a man, and liking that man just a little bit more than the boy she had before. I hadn't really seen her since. I guess this new guy was some kind of prince. I guess his castle was a front for a fence. And then the whole damn city got warm, and they were trying to ride out that storm. 'Cause the rain is inconsistent, and the thunder's insincere. It makes a big commotion, but eventually it clears. And I went out to San Francisco. Some sailors stole my shirt, and I was sitting in the passenger side of the taxi. The first time that I heard that she was probably speeding, no one else was hurt. Jessamine must have had some dreams, but she never really said what they were. She never really said what they were.
Well, Russ, the park manager, is a big fan of mine. Russ, thank you. There's nothing cooler than showing up to a random beach gig and the first person you meet actually knows your music. You're like, it's going to be a good night. And Russ had one song request, which I'm gonna honor. But Russ has also green-lighted all skinny dipping activities after the show. Because I didn't bring my bathing suit, and I was like, I'm sure there are some rules about nudity here. He was like, we can just let it be. So if anyone wants to take a swim post-show, Russ said it's fine. It's complicated. Technically, I'm certified. A walking declaration of everything I couldn't get right. And time is just an anchor. In 7 years, I think I'm right. Oh, well, now you change your number. It's like a noose around my life. Every pill I every penny I put away. Oh, asking for flowers is like asking you to be nice. Don't tell me you're too tired. 10 years I've been working nights. My life is like a picture left out too long in the sun, and now I'm trying to remember all the faces of the names I've loved, 'cause all that's left of me now is just a cigarette burning bright and a fading memory of all the things I tried to get right. Every pill I took in vain, every meal for you I made, every penny I put away. Oh, 'cause asking for flowers is like asking you to be nice. Don't tell me you're too tired. 10 years I've been working nights. Every pill I took in vain, every meal for you I made, every bill I went and paid, every card I went and signed my name, every time I pour my heart out, every thread you made to move out, every cruel word you let just slip out, every cruel word you let slip out, slip out. Oh, asking for flowers is like asking you to be nice. Don't tell me you're too tired. 10 years I've been working nights. Don't tell me you're too tired. 10 years I've been working nights. Thank you.
So in April, I put out a new record. It's called Always Been, and thank you. The record's kind of all one big story, or mostly one big story, and it's about a guy. He gets out of the service and he needs a job. And he decides to apply for the job or go after the job that he's always kind of wanted. And that job is to be a priest. And this is only unusual because he doesn't believe in God. But he does it anyways. He does the training. He studies the scripture. He becomes a priest. And he starts preaching, and he's actually really good at it. People come to listen to him, and people come to them and come to him and, tell him their problems, confess their sins. He builds a congregation, it gets bigger and bigger, and he meets a wife. And it's all going pretty well. And then one day something happens. God shows up, and God is angry, and God strikes him down. And And so when we open the record, we find him. He's living at his parents' beach house on the Delaware shore, trying to figure out what went wrong and what came next. And this is his story. In the later afternoon, it sort of softens on the avenue, wasting the remainder of the day, drinking off what's left of the glasses on the table when the couples get their checks and walk away. And I'll be here tomorrow and then every day that follows until I see you later on this week, when you come and pick me up when I get up off the bus. Will you help me bring my stuff out to the beach? When we met, I was the Reverend. You were in the congregation. Didn't happen right away, but pretty soon. And I never had a calling, I just had a strong desire to be the one that stood up in the room. So when I was a child, I used to fixate on the chaplain, the way he brought the widows all to tears. That looked like a decent way to make a little living here. I gave myself to God for a few years. I built a chapel off the exit on the highway outside Harrisburg. There was all that new development back then. Parishioners would come to me with cakes and little pastries and asked me for my blessing once again. But I couldn't shake the feeling. I was faking all the faithfulness, and every single sermon was a fraud. I drifted through the rituals, prideful, high, and pitiful, pissing off a petty, vengeful God. Pissing off a petty, vengeful God. Parents are both ancient now. I'm staying at their summer house, clear out on the weekends when they come. To my sisters with her daughter on the fringe of Philadelphia, with their skinny cigarettes and snapping gum. But I'm grateful for the place to stay. I'm caddying on Saturdays. The money's not as good as it was when we were teenagers. Walk back from the golf course, cut through a couple backyards, try to keep my eyes pointed heavenward. And in another prior life, the Reverend and his wife were sitting in the kitchen making plans, unaware of all the mess the pressure in the flesh is capable of making in a man. And I never really fell, 'cause I was never quite convinced. But I must admit I miss all the simplicity of a woman and a man, though I also understand the reasons you no longer want to be with me. I can see why you no longer want to be with me. The devil came in hot. Someone called the cops. I explained to them how much it is you mean to me. The cuffs, they made a click as they wrapped around my wrists. Everybody's got some version of security. Somewhere there's a life where the Reverend has his wife and Jesus has his ministry in Galilee. But this sunset looks like blood from the windows of this bus, somewhere between Harrisburg and Bethany. Somewhere between Harrisburg and Bethany. Somewhere between Harrisburg and Bethany.
I agree. If you don't have his new record, I love it. I listen to it all the time. It's so musically expressive and beautifully produced. And if you're a fan of the War on Drugs, you'll get a tinge of that. But if you're a Craig Finn fan you know that the songs are always good and the stories kind of like they just catch up on you, and before you know it, you find yourself in a story that you want to hear over and over. I'm a huge Craig fan, and it was so gracious of him to include me on a opening for him in Europe last fall. And then when he was finishing his record, I don't know if any of you know, a couple of weeks ago he did a big album release at the Bowery Ballroom. And sorry, I'm talking about you like you're not here, but you're sitting right there. And honestly, it was one of the most satisfying musical nights of many years of my life, and in part to have been asked to just kind of come and not just witness, but, you know, maybe sing a few lines or play a few things on the violin. And at one point I looked out, and on stage he had like a 30-piece band. And they were all people who I deeply admire and respect as musical creators in their own right. And you know, one of the things that happened to me is that I put up my first record when I was in my early 20s, 5 years ago. And when I put out my first record, I got to play on the David Letterman show, and I was just this kid in Canada who had made a little demo record that became my first album, and I got signed, and then I got to play on Letterman the day it came out. And the years that followed were like a tornado. And I ended up really burning out, 4 albums later, and becoming quite, frankly, I was clinically depressed, and I quit music. And I opened up a coffee shop. I moved back to Ottawa where my family was, and I opened a coffee shop, and I called it Quitters Coffee, just to make sure I didn't change my mind. And then I ran that for years, and it was really a wonderful change in my life, and it was nice to have a day job, and it was nice to not be packing my suitcase every 3 weeks. But I came back to music, and one of the things that's so incredibly satisfying about having come back is the people, and realizing that there were so many people not only who were still going to sort of come up, see my shows, but there were all these people I had not yet met yet. And if you could have told the girl who was very, very sad and very sort of ill-spirited who quit music that years later she would be standing on stage supporting Craig Finn at the Bowery Ballroom with a cast of very cool people, she would not have believed it. So thank you, Craig. When I came back to music, this was a song that I wrote that became the kind of kickoff to my very poorly timed 2020 comeback year, which I terribly named my album in 2020. In January, they're like, we need a title for your album. I was like, let's call it Total Freedom. And that went very badly, very poorly. But the song is about sort of picking up the pieces of memories and realizing that even the hard shit is also the good shit when you've made it through. When I go walking in my neighborhood, I wonder how I even got here. It seems so long since those Hamilton days and the first house we bought together. And the online street view used to crack me up. It was you standing in your slippers. Yeah, we were on the front porch with a Siamese cat, but it's not up there anymore. And I will always be thankful for it. I was so lucky to be under your wing, but I think I went and outgrew on. Now when I find myself looking back, I think of all the cool shit that happened. Well, we had a tour bus with a bed in the back, a rock and roll dream, and it was total crap. Well, we toured the world and we played on TV. We met some of our heroes. Well, it almost killed me, and I will always be thankful for it. And I will always be thankful for it. 'cause it was too late when we did like you changed too much. You didn't change. Well, I'm sorry for everything. For everything, everything. The early days when we were playing at like the Underground or Joe's Pub or the Bitter End, and I was drinking too much whiskey. I knew my career was fucked the night I played the Underground, and it's a really... Has anyone been there? It's dark and it's pretty dingy and the ceilings are low. And I sang with my full band. I was playing, must have been 25, and the whole record company was excited because it was my New York show. And there was one guy I could see in the crowd sitting under a light. And under the light, he was sitting with a pen and paper, scribbling through the whole show. I was like, the fucking music writer is the guy who's going to review this show is the only guy I could see. So I kind of picked on him a couple times. I was like, you want some tips for writing the piece? Let me know, hit me up. And at the end of the show, my label came. They were like horrified. They were like, do you know who that was? I was like, the music writer? They're like, it was a guy named John Perellis. I was like, well, guess that's the end of my career. How's he doing? But early days when we were playing at the Underground and I was drinking too much whiskey, you always knew how to set me straight even though I didn't want to hear it. I will always be thankful for it. And I will always be thankful for it. Yeah, I will always be thankful for it. Yeah, I will always be thankful for it. Love you, John Perellis.
One of my vivid pandemic memories is I'd be in my kitchen, listening to the radio. And again, I'm from Minneapolis, and I would listen to the Minneapolis radio station, The Current, because it's a really good station, but it also kind of felt comforting during the pandemic. And they played the hell out of that song. I would hear that song all the time. So if you felt like it was ill-timed, it was certainly getting through to me. And we didn't know each other yet. We met later, Kathleen and I. We both did a festival called Sing Us Home with our friend Dave Hawes. And the first night was a songwriters round with Dave and myself and Kathleen, and we were friends after that. And I started making this last record, and the producer, Adam Grandisiel from the band The War on Drugs, one day said, he looked at his phone, he said, hey, Kathleen Edwards is in town. She says she knows you too. I said, yeah. She wants to stop by the studio, and I said, well, let's get her on a song. And it worked out so well, we got her on a couple songs, but I think this was the first one. And this is, I know, a song that they played on the Peak. This is that same guy, that priest who's not really a priest anymore. And this song's about him trying to convince his ex that he's doing a lot better. And whether we believe him, that's for you to decide. Dana, I don't get depressed anymore, except possibly December at the Delaware shore. Maybe missing numbers on the motel doors, toy section at the drugstore. Otherwise, I'm pretty much cured. Been getting out of bed before noon now. Gonna find a new place pretty soon now. The whole thing's moving uptown, and I'm sorry about the way that I scared you. Sorry that I wasn't in touch since. Spent way too much time with people without any substance. And I decided that I'm gonna push forward. I'm committed to making the change, but you gotta remember, I never go out in the rain. And it's been raining all day, and my jacket got nicked from the coat check. The curtains can't keep out the gray. These umbrellas that you get at the drugstore always blow the wrong way. And Dana, I don't drink nearly as much, 1 or 2 nights at the week at the most. I know I used to be such a monster. The city's still lousy with ghosts, so I'm sorry about that fight in the taxi. You know, that probably just wasn't my night. If you just agree to come see me, I could try to make it alright. And I decided that I'm gonna back off now. I heard you turn that old boy into a husband. Now you're out in the county hanging out with some people of substance. Dana, I'm done with the breakdowns, but the winter's pretty weird here at the shore. You never really told me what it was you cut me off for, and I'm still not sure. So I decided that I'd call and just check in, 'cause if I was good enough for you back then, you shouldn't be ashamed to bring me around to your new friends. I've been asking around for some sort of system to trust in. Maybe you could put me in touch with some people of substance. I spend way too much time on people without any substance. I spend way too much time on people without any substance.
But this is going to be my last song, and thanks so much for having us and for coming on this beautiful summer night. I made a very bold choice in the last few years, which was to move from Canada to Florida, and as you can see, I've been working on my tan, and I wrote this song in almost 15 years ago. I wrote this song 15 years ago. It's hard to believe, but the wonderful thing about life is that you kind of never know the things that you're going to kind of confront and face, and the people that we evolve into as we get older is really kind of a bit of a cruel joke, because if you told like the younger version of me that all my songs wouldn't make any more sense because of the things that I've decided to do since I've written them. This is a song called Empty Threat, and I love St. Petersburg, Florida, but the version of me who wrote this song just hadn't been there yet, so bear with me. The hardest days of the summer brought us here together. You know it's true, still true. But this cold earth's getting warmer. Baby, come September, I'll feel brand new. I'm moving to America, moving to America, I'm moving to America. It's an empty threat. City I once said never, I'm learning to say never, 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 ever. 'Cause flower. Look, blue men through the concrete cracks of this condo tower. I'm moving to America, moving to America, moving to America. It's an empty thread. I'm moving to America, moving to America. I'm moving to America. It's an empty thread. Over the course of hours, my bike met a thunder shower, and I hit my head until it bled. I pressed reset, goddamn it. I'm moving to America, moving to America, moving to America. It's an empty thread. I'm moving to America, moving to America. I'm moving to America. It's an empty thread. I'm moving to America, moving to America. I'm moving to America. It's not an empty thread. But the hottest days of the summer, they brought us here together. You know it's true.
I'm into your Shamrock. You want to say it?
Thanks.
All right. I also have one more, and this is the first song. I played this song the first time I met Kathleen, and she said, "Wow, I really like that one." So I feel like this is the song our friendship's built on, and it's very depressing. Yeah. So this is about two people I knew growing up. Their names are Sean and Sabrina, and they were a couple. And but the thing about Sean, the guy in the couple, no one ever called him Sean. He had a nickname. They called him Shamrock. And Shamrock, the thing about him, he always wore one of those green satin, like Boston Celtics jackets. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't know if they, if he wore the jacket because they called him Shamrock, or they called him Shamrock because he wore the jacket. It was a chicken or the egg kind of thing. But he always wore the jacket, and I know they didn't call him Shamrock because he'd ever been to Ireland, because there's no way. And I'm pretty sure he hadn't been to Boston either. He was a stay in South Minneapolis kind of guy. But him and Sabrina fell in love, and this is their story. Met him after summer school, Hiawatha bus stop, in a knockoff Celtics jacket. Said his crew, they call him Shamrock. His mother died when he was 5, and his dad's some sort of drug cop. But the apple sometimes rolls way down the hill. Sabrina claims the south side, but really she's from Richfield. These invisible divisions never seem like such a big deal. She's been working at some wine bar, making jokes about the mouthfeel. She sometimes takes 20s from the till. Unprovoked and unadorned, white t-shirts and cut-off shorts. Summer takes a shapeless form, after dark and Powderhorn. If you pull your funds together, you barely ever broke. walking up to SA to get smokes. In the spring they found some shambles. The South Suburban sprawl. Sabrina's taking classes. Shamrock's hanging drywall. But his fingernails keep falling off and he comes home pissed and sore. And every day he hates it more and more. So the years go by and life goes on. Nothing really happens. School became a drag, so she went back to be a waitress. And there isn't much to sit on when the old crew comes to visit. So they all get high and pass out on the floor. Then Shamrock just stops working. Said it's such a meager pittance. Once they take the taxes out, it's barely even worth it. The TV's set to static. There's drums off in the distance. Their daughter's sleeping in a dresser drawer. Unprescribed and unfulfilled. Application special skills. She admits she sometimes still takes 20s from the till. Shamrock's sick of trying to smile when he's holding in the smoke. Got talking to this guy he sorta knows. Call came in this evening from the county credit union. 2 guys with masks and pistols crashed in as they were closing. By the time the cruisers came around, they had grabbed the cash and scattered. But the cameras always captured all the action. So a trooper pulled them over on a vehicle description at a Hampton Inn in Hudson, about a mile into Wisconsin. And when the footage ran on News at 9, she could tell that it was Shamrock. And that ragged satin jacket that says Boston. Unrehearsed and unprepared to be the only one who cares for a daughter who keeps asking about her father. Pooled their funds together, but somehow she's still broke. Walking up to Speedway to get smokes. Walking up to Speedway to get smokes. Thanks, Kathleen. Thanks to the Peak for having us. Thank you all for coming out tonight and being here. Really nice.
Craig Finn and Kathleen Edwards, thank you. Really. What a special night. Thank you for joining us.